Hello and welcome to the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Our guest today is Jaemellah Jackson, and she is the founder of It Takes Two. We've had you on a couple of times over the years, but it's been a long time.
It has.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember, the last time you were on it was COVID. So I think you were doing it from your home because you had these headphones on. You were doing it from your home, and we got it done, but it is so good all these years later to actually see you in person.
Yes, agreed. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited to be here.
And It Takes Two has been around now for a long time.
Yes.
Tell us what your organization does.
Sure. So we just celebrated 13 years on February 15th, and we support young people. Young people are our passion population. We support them through scholarships and life skills and educational programming. Our cornerstone program is our Tools for Success Scholarship, which is open to students living in single-parent homes in grades 4 through college in select Maryland counties. We like to call them micro awards, but they pay for school supplies, books, uniforms, laptops, tutoring, internet, whatever that child may need for that entire school year. When COVID did hit, we did have to pivot. We added laptops and internet because we found that the school systems weren't able to provide laptops for all of the young people. So we just included that in our program and we never took it out. And we also have a Position for Greatness Youth program. That's more of a life skills based 9-month program that allows students to kind of think about what life after high school looks like for them. And we still have our Supply Drive 365 initiative providing school supplies to students for the entire school year, not just to get started, but also to finish school just as strongly as they started with the second replenishment during the half of the year.
How do you qualify for the scholarship?
Sure, so you must be a single parent. This child must have at least a 2.5 GPA. You must meet our income requirements, and our income requirements match that of the free and reduced lunch program, whether you qualify for it or you receive it. And you must live in one of our service areas. So currently we are serving Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City and County, Charles County, Prince George's, Montgomery, and this is just news. We just added another service area. We're now going to Dorchester County in Maryland. So this is a new service area that we're really excited about, meeting the needs of the residents and community there. Our new board came in and it was time to add a new service area, and we did the math, we ran the data, we ran the numbers, and Dorchester was our pick to start serving in this 25-26 school year.
How many kids do you service each year?
Through the scholarship, on average, we award about 3 to 4 scholarships per year. So far, we've awarded 40 scholarships totaling over $16,000. So we're so grateful for the community support in helping us to fund this program.
How have you seen your program helping people over the years? What feedback have you gotten about the program?
Well, when you think about not buying school supplies or making that decision to buy school supplies and food and rent and clothes and uniforms, it's a relief for single parents because they now can use that money for something else, like putting food on the table. And that was very much my story and why It Takes Two was started. I couldn't afford food and school supplies to send my son to kindergarten. So, that was when God laid it on my heart to start this vision. So the feedback that we receive is that they can now allocate that money somewhere else. So it just gives them a little breath of fresh air to know that their child has the tools that they need to be successful. And for a lot of our single parents, school supplies are a luxury, right? Like we're trying to keep the lights on and a roof over our head and gas in the car or, transportation. So, but our young people, those are the tools that they need to be successful in the classroom. So it just helps to relieve the financial burden. It gives our young people self-esteem going into classroom, not going to school without the school supplies that they have, and feeling some sort of way, or uniforms, or for our college students, just money on the books to help pay for those expensive books, whether they're online or in their hand, right? We all know about that. So it's just helping, just a hand out, a hand up, not a handout, is what I always say. And one of our big success stories is Micaiah Dunnigan. She is a 2-time Tools for Success Scholarship recipient. We met her back in, when she was in 10th grade. She is now on our board. She was our board vice president. She's graduated. She's, in her field. And so we've kind of come full circle with her. And those are the moments we try to create.
Now, you have a very powerful story yourself. How did you turn this need for supplies for your son, who is now a grown man?
Yes.
How did you turn that into this organization?
Well, it took me a couple of years. I was talking myself out of it. I didn't feel that I was qualified. I didn't feel like I had the time. I didn't feel like I had the know-how. But when God tells you to do something, you kind of just do it, and we keep going, and it just kept nagging at me. So we launched in 2012, and basically I took what I was going through and knowing that others were going through the exact same thing.
What were you going through at that time?
It was financial. I was a single mom trying to raise a son. The money the ends weren't meeting, robbing Peter to pay Paul, all the things, right? And so when it came to the decision, okay, it's time for him to go to kindergarten. We don't have food for the week. Where's that? What's the answer here, right? So, with friends and family, I was able to meet both of those needs, but then it was like, okay, Jaemellah, it's time to launch. It's time to help others because you're struggling, yes. But in the midst of our struggle, we can help others. And so that's how It Takes Two was birthed.
And did you find that once you put it out there, you attracted people of like mind?
Yes, it took a little while, but I also had my own preconceived notions about certain things and certain people that I thought were going to help. And while they didn't help, over the years, the right people have come. So I just say that the awareness was a big piece of this, just sharing. And when you share your story, when you share your intent, when you share your strategy, and you share how you want to help others, that's when you will attract the right people to support your work.
What's your advice to people who are in that stage where they're considering doing something else? They're considering starting a nonprofit. They have a passion, but they don't know what to do, where to start.
Right. So I always start with why. Whom do you want to serve? What's your service population, your passion population? And how do you plan to serve them? Programs. Where's the funding going to come from? How are you taking them from this place to a better place? We got to have the strategy. That's most important. And then the why is, why are you doing this? What are your reasons? And for a lot of founders, it's because it's a personal lived experience, or we see something in the community that we know that we can provide a solution for. So before we go asking anyone for help, before we go to taking any legal steps, make sure we understand whom we want to serve, how we plan to serve them, and making sure you understand why you're doing this, because you want to out of the goodness of your heart, knowing that this is still a business, right? Because a lot of us get into this thing wanting to do good, but it's a business at the end of the day. So you have to think like a business. You have to know that there's funding. You got to have people serving on your board of directors, which are not friends and family. So I'm never the one to say you should not do it, but really be intentional and strategic and know that what you're trying to do is needed. There's a lot of duplication in the nonprofit sector. So you want to do an environmental scan just to make sure the need that you see is a real need for which you can provide an innovative solution for, something that's going to set you apart from others when it's time to get that funding in.
So what mistakes do you think people should avoid?
Without doing the research. Understand what it takes to operate in the nonprofit sector. What does it mean to be a nonprofit? How do you maintain your status? Understanding that once you file with the state of Maryland, you still have to get approval from the IRS to get your 501c3 status. So I would just say that the caution to learn, read, attend classes, hire a coach to assist you with the process, one that is vetted, one that has experience. I believe in the position that I'm in. I have lived experiences. I've been operating the nonprofit for 13 years. I also have a consulting firm helping others to start a nonprofit. I have a master's in nonprofit management and association. So I took the steps to learn the industry before I entered the industry.
Now let's go back to talking about your nonprofit and the fact that you also do mentoring.
Yes.
For students. Let's talk about what type of mentoring you do, because not every student wants to go to college, not every student wants to go to a trade program. So tell us, what options do you give students?
Sure. So through our Position for Greatness Youth Program, which is a hybrid 9-month co-ed program geared toward 5th through 12th grade students, we focus on those types of conversations, right? So we understand that middle school and high school are your most transformative years. So that's where you experience bullying and self-esteem issues and trying to figure out what life after high school looks like for you. So we focus on college and career readiness. We have what we call difficult conversations sometimes about what are you going to do after high school. If it's not college, then it's a trade school. If it's not trade school, perhaps it's the military. If it's not that, then are you going to go into the workforce? Do you want to go to a community college, right? So we give them options, and we try to have them take a look at, what am I naturally good at? How can I turn that into a career, right? We don't have to always do things just to do it, just to bring in a paycheck. We can actually do things that we love to do and still make a viable income. So we have those types of conversations. We have experts come in and teach about financial education, the importance of managing your money, getting a job, showing up well for the interview, being on time, being respectful, so that they can present their best selves, whether it's on a college application or an employer application, or you're trying to get somebody, you're pitching your business for somebody to invest in it. So we have those types of conversations and experiences that we create for them in our Position for Greatness Youth Program.
What have you heard is the major concern of students today?
Really, after I graduate, what am I going to do? That's why we started this program, because parents may want one thing and the child may want something different. So there needs to be some sort of alignment on where we go, because as parents, we need to support what they want to do, but also give them the right direction, right? So it's just trying to figure out, I know what I want to do, how do I get there? Or I don't know what I want to do, so now what? So it's kind of trying to answer those questions, or the open-ended, unanswered questions, is what we typically hear from our young people.
There are so many more fields nowadays than it was when you and I were coming up. There's so much more you can do with social media, with the whole digital age. How do you help them prepare for that as well? Also, help them be realistic.
Right.
You're not going to be like the greatest influencer. You may be, but there's
still a path. There's still a process for that.
Yes.
Right.
Or the greatest rapper of all times.
Right.
How do you get them to see the reality of this job search that you're going to have in front of you?
Well, we have them do the research. What does it take to become an influencer? Go do the research. Figure out how long it takes for this, how long it took for this influencer to become an influencer. How many hours? How did they get those brand deals? Once we start to pick apart what it is that they're looking to do, then they start to see the aha moment of, oh, this is what it's going to take to do this, right? We have our college tours that allow them to experience college on campus, and we do a variety. We do your traditional HBCU, your PWI, your private, your public. We also do community colleges, and we also do trade schools. So we put them in the space to see how they feel. Is this where I want to be? Do I want to be close to home? Do I want to be away from home? And through our career exploration, what we've been trying to do is partner our young people with people in the industries that they say they want to be a part of. During our registration process, we ask, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And so if they say doctor or nurse or whatever, we try to find individuals in those fields and have conversations or do shadow days so they can really get a little bit of a feel of what it is that they want to do. But we do have very real conversations about what it's going to take to get to your next level, whatever that may be.
We're coming into a time, and it's already hard now to afford a college education, but we're coming into a time where that's just such an unstable area. How do you get kids in the mindset, prepare them, hey, you might have to do this, and this to get that college education?
Sure. So it's another very real conversation, looking at the true cost of college, all the expenses. It's not, when you get a full ride, it has to include all the things, right? Everything. So we break down the cost of college. We take a look at in-state versus out-of-state. Sometimes it is more affordable to go out-of-state, but you have to compare those costs and all of those costs. And just understanding that the value of money It does grow and it can grow. That's where that financial education piece comes into play. And just making sure that they understand that you don't have to graduate if you go to college in debt. You just don't have to. I did, and I'm trying to get out of it. But there are so many programs out there, and even if what is currently happening continues to happen, there's still other entities, nonprofits, sororities, fraternities, churches, that have these scholarship funds. You just got to go out and seek it, right? So that's another hard conversation to have, is that there is millions of dollars out there, but you have to go find it. You got to put in some sweat equity to find these opportunities, but they are there.
Also, making sure that kids are financially literate at a young age.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or in our day, you didn't become financially literate until you fell a couple of times,
Right. Right.
So getting them prepared for those things, how does your organization help with that?
Sure. So our financial education is one of our 6 core pillars of the Position for Greatness Youth Program. So we talk about finances, credit, keeping your credit clean, but understanding that credit is needed in this society, right? Because credit is leverage. So understanding the money that you get, how to manage it, how to save it, how to budget it. When you're asking for gifts for your birthdays, maybe we need to start asking for some stock options, right? And not the Game Boys or whatever the kids are playing nowadays, but they can be young people. We don't want to take away their youth and their adolescence, because there's a beauty in that. But it's also letting them know that even now you can make money in the future, so that you can really live that life that you want to live. And so that's where learning about how to invest. We kicked off our first ever Youth Investment Summit last year in partnership with Equity Now Incorporated. And they learned for 5 days how to stock market, investment tools, investment strategies, credit, personal finance. They did live stock simulations of how to trade on the stock market. And that's for 8th through 12th grade students. Just imagine opening up a custodial account in 8th grade, but you can do that for a 2-year-old, right? And that compounding and how much money you can have in 20, 25 years. That's what we want them to know now. That's the access and the information that we want them to have, so they can take advantage of it.
And kids catch on so quickly, so I'm sure they just suck that right up.
They did. And I would say a good amount of them actually have custodial accounts now because of
and
that
explain
program
what a
last year.
custodial account is.
Sure. So I am not a financial guru, so we're gonna take this like
Make
ABC.
it simple.
We're gonna make it plain as I understand it. But it is an account that is opened up by a parent, because as a minor you can't have an investment account on your own. So mom or dad would need to open it up as a custodial account, and you just choose where you want your money to go. You're investing in the stock market, for lack of a better term, and you're making consistent deposits into that account over the course of years. And with the compounding, it just gets to a point where you could have millions of dollars by the time they retire, and maybe they could retire early, right? But it's just getting into the mode of understanding, I need to save, I need to prepare for my future even now, and this is how we can do that.
Let's talk about the mental health, getting kids prepared mentally for the road ahead. How do you guys do that? Because you mentioned very early in our conversation about how you help them deal with things like bullying and things like that. How do you get them, especially in this day and time, people are finally talking more about that and how mental health impacts kids and how we should be more open to talk about that.
We should. So our motto is, always be kind. You just never know what people are going through. And I think the core of some of the bullying activity or the unkindness is just not having that spirit of kindness, but it's also just not knowing how to cope. By no means are we therapists, nor do we act to be therapists, but we do have strategic partners that focus in that area. But it's really recognizing a change in behavior, letting our young people know that it is okay to not be okay, that you need to go to a trusted adult with things that you have going on, and giving them the resources and the pathway to getting that particular help. So the same conversation we have with young people, we have to have it with the adults as well, who are going to be the ones to kind of help facilitate those conversations and building those relationships. So we have to be open to what's happening with a young person. their mood changes, their attitude, if they were a straight A student and now they're failing, or vice versa. You know, we have to be more mindful of what our young people are going through. And there are signs, you know, with the appropriate training, we can identify what those signs are. But it really, when they're in our care, we have to be mindful of all of that. And if we hear something, we have to say something, because we're here to serve young people. So again, we don't fulfill that directly with direct counseling and therapy, but we do have partners that we can refer them out to get them the support that they need. But at the end of the day, they need safe spaces.
You were telling me earlier off camera that you all have something coming up in July.
Yes, so that is our financial education piece of our youth program. Our Youth Investment Summit is going to be happening at Legends Public Charter School in Lanham, Maryland from July 28th through Friday, April 1st. And it's open to 8th through 12th grade students. And again, you get to invest in the stock market. You get to learn investment tools and look up your favorite, if you all are Apple or Samsung or whatever, see how much their stock is worth, right? So we start doing that type of research to see where your parents' money go. Let's reinvest that money into some stocks and let it grow for you a different way, instead of wearing out the shoes or, you know, replacing your phone every few years. So that is a 5-day summit where it's going to be led by Justin DeVos. He's a financial educator at Equity Now, which is the charter management organization for Legends Public Charter School. So it's going to be a good time. Last year we had 10 students as our pilot. We're now looking for 30 young people to come in. So we're trying to increase the impact. And there will be an opportunity to receive seed money to open up your custodial account.
Okay, and we will give your information in the credits.
Okay.
But I want to go back to the scholarship.
Sure.
And again, how do you qualify for the scholarship? Who do you need to be? Where do you need to live? And all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So starting April 1st through July 1st, our Tools for Success scholarship is open to students living in single-parent homes in grades 4 through college up to age 26. Our service areas are Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County and City, Prince George's County, Charles County, Montgomery County, and as of this year, Dorchester County, Maryland as well. You'll need to complete an application online at our website. It takes 2inc.org/scholarship. It does include an essay that you'll have to submit, and this is for 4th through college. So
and what do you have to say? What do you have to say?
Have to write. We know that mom and dad at that age are probably helping, but at that age, it's more like, who is your hero and why are they your hero? As we get a little bit older, we start thinking about our future. What are your future goals? What are some personal experiences that you've gone through that have helped you to become who you are, to decide where your ultimate career focus is going to be? For our college student, this is a new prompt as well. So you're getting all the new stuff here today for our scholarship. But they get to share a community service-based project to kind of give us ideas of what would it look like if we needed to build or improve your high school. What are some sustainability features that you would include in this new high school for your community? So it's a different approach to letting our young people be more expressive in their essay, but understanding that with scholarships, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have an essay component. So we want to introduce that.
How long is it?
It depends on the age range, but between 250 words for our younger students and up to 500. So it's not a long essay.
That's not long at all.
It's not a long essay, but that can be challenging because you have to be very succinct, hit the point, in order for it to score well. So all essays are scored well. All of our applications are reviewed by our Scholarship Review and Selection Committee, and we will make those announcements on August 1st.
And any GPA?
2.5 minimum GPA. So we're not always looking for the 4.0s, right? We understand that our 2.5s, they have value, right? And
please say that again.
Our 2.5s have just as much value as our 4.2s and 5.0. So we cover 2.5 up to 4.0 because our young people have different needs, but I think a lot of our scholarships don't focus on our 2.5s and ours do, because the very reason why they're not succeeding is because they don't have the tools they need to be successful. That's where our scholarship program comes into play. Right? If you don't have pencils and pen, how are you going to participate in class?
And again, what does the scholarship cover as far as what you need?
School supplies, books, uniforms, academic and sports registration fees, laptops, tutoring, and internet. We have the academic and sports registration fees because it's important that our young people are well-rounded. And again, if you're trying to pay for food, keep the lights on, keep a roof over our heads, school supplies, uniform, that you don't have money to participate in football and cheerleading. All those things are expensive. So those are luxuries that should not be a luxury in order for us to create well-rounded students. And some of our young people are just academically astute, and then we have more who are athletic. But we want to give them the opportunity to experience those things as well.
I know with raising 4 kids and everybody wanting to be in a particular activity, that can get really expensive. And like you said, if you've got a choice between putting food on the table and enrolling them in the football program, plus cleats and I mean just different expenses come into play, and you just may not be able to afford it. So this is an excellent, excellent opportunity for parents. And as you said earlier, you know, you've been there. Been there, done that. And you're about to do it again.
And I'm about to do it again. But it's been an amazing journey. You know, it feels good to help other people. And again, going back to your question of those who want to get into this industry, you gotta want to do good. Yes. At the end of the day, that's just what it's all about. That's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you like, we need to do this work, although the money's not here. The money's not coming. The right people are not here. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? When you see the results of your work and the fruit of your harvest, that's gonna keep you going.
But through the hard times in getting this all together, through those hard times, where did you find your strength?
I had to pray, Stephanie. I did. I had to go back where it all started, because this was a God-given vision. And I'm like, Lord, do you still have me on this assignment? Him and I have been in a tussle. We've been in a bit of a tussle, and I'm being honest in that I didn't know if I still could do this, you know, with, you know, a new child, you know, my daughter, beautiful, love her spirit. But it's like mommy and business and founder and executive, and you know, it was just a lot, but God still has me on assignment, so I'm still here doing his work.
I am so glad you are. And don't let it be another 4, 5, 6 years.
I know, right?
Before you, because we can't reschedule and say, I'm going to get her. I am definitely going to make this happen, and I am so glad I did. Jaemellah Jackson,
Yes,
It Takes Two, Inc. And if people want information about the scholarship and about the program that's going to be going on this summer regarding the financial literacy piece, we will give that website information in the credits. Okay. And so people who are interested in contacting you also, good luck, kudos for the Dorchester County thing that you are that you've been able to expand.
Yes, we're excited about that. We try to add a new service area every 2 to 3 years, so this was right on time with our new board coming in. So we're definitely excited. Always open to volunteers and of course donations, because at the end of the day we are a business. So we do appreciate your support.
You've been watching the Sisters for Fitness Wellness show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Enjoy the rest of your day.